Your alarm goes off, and your stomach is completely empty, not from neglect, but from the quiet discipline of 14 hours without food. Every fitness influencer, every certified trainer, every sports nutrition label has told you the same thing for decades: eat before you move. But this morning, something shifts inside you, a quiet rebellion, a flicker of curiosity that refuses to be silenced by conventional wisdom. You lace up your shoes in the dark, step outside into the cool, still air, and begin moving on nothing but water and willpower. And then it happens, the thing nobody warned you about, the thing that rewrites everything you thought you understood about energy, hunger, and the human body. Instead of crashing, instead of your legs turning to concrete, instead of the dreaded bonk that every fitness expert promised you, you feel electricity. Your mind, foggy just minutes ago, suddenly sharpens into a kind of clarity you have not felt in months, maybe years. Your body feels lighter than it has any right to feel, as if something invisible and heavy has been quietly lifted off your shoulders without you even noticing. What you have just stumbled into is not a fitness hack or a wellness trend born in a Silicon Valley biohacking lab. It is something far older, far more powerful, and far more personal than that. You have just activated an ancient survival mechanism written into your DNA by 2 million years of human evolution, and your body has been waiting your entire life for you to finally use it. This is the science of fasted exercise, and it goes so much deeper than burning a few extra calories before breakfast. It is about reprogramming your entire metabolic identity, cell by cell, hormone by hormone, at a level so fundamental that it changes not just how your body looks, but how it thinks, ages, and survives. Before we go deeper into what happens inside you, we need to permanently dismantle one myth that has quietly misled millions of people and kept them from ever experiencing what you are about to understand. Most people genuinely believe that the food they eat 30 minutes before a workout is what powers their muscles during that workout. They grab a protein bar, sip a sports drink, feel a little burst of mental readiness, and assume the fuel has been delivered. But the biology tells a completely different story. Digestion is not a fast process. It is slow, complex, and deeply sequential, taking anywhere from 2 to 6 hours before nutrients actually reach your bloodstream in usable form. That banana you ate before hitting the gym is still sitting in your stomach, being broken apart by acid, not powering a single muscle fiber in your legs. The real energy your muscles are using right now comes from internal reserves your body has been carefully stockpiling, glycogen locked in your liver and muscles, and thousands of calories stored deep inside your body fat. Even a relatively lean person carries enough stored fat energy to run multiple full marathons without eating a single bite. Your body is not a machine that needs constant refueling. It is a machine that has forgotten it already has fuel. Fasted exercise is not about starving yourself. It is about teaching your body to access the enormous reservoir of energy it has been sitting on all along. When you begin your very first fasted workout, your body enters a state that researchers call a metabolic adjustment phase, a kind of biological reckoning that your cells have been quietly preparing for. Your insulin levels are at their absolute lowest, sometimes the lowest point in a full 24-hour cycle, and that matters more than almost anything else in this entire conversation. Low insulin is the biological green light, the signal your body has been waiting for to finally unlock stored fatty acids and release them directly into your bloodstream as usable fuel. But here's the uncomfortable truth about your first few fasted sessions. Your body has forgotten how to do this efficiently because you've never asked it to. It has spent years, maybe decades, lazily relying on a constant supply of dietary carbohydrates, and fat burning has quietly atrophied like a muscle that was never trained. So in your early fasted workouts, you may feel a heaviness in your legs, a subtle brain fog, a sense that something is slightly off, and every single bit of that discomfort is your body being forced to upgrade itself. Studies confirm that fasted exercise rapidly accelerates the production of fat-burning enzymes inside your muscles and tissues. You're not just losing weight, you're rebuilding the metabolic machinery that was rusting from years of neglect. Every fasted session is essentially a software update, rewriting the deep code that governs how your body produces energy at the most fundamental level. Your liver is simultaneously depleting its liver glycogen reserves, roughly 100 grams of stored carbohydrates, while your cells scramble to build the molecular equipment needed to extract real energy from fat. By the end of your first full week of consistent fasted training, something genuinely significant begins to shift. The heaviness starts to fade, and a new kind of energy starts to emerge. Your body is beginning to remember something ancient, something it was built to do, something modern life has been quietly suppressing for generations. This is the point where your hormones step forward, and where the most dramatic biological changes truly begin. One of the most powerful of those changes is a surge in growth hormone, rising to 5 or even 6 times its normal baseline levels during fasted exercise. Your body floods itself with growth hormone for a deeply practical reason rooted in evolutionary survival. It's a biological bodyguard for your lean muscle tissue, a signal that says these fibers are completely off limits no matter how hungry we get. At the same time, your cells are developing a heightened sensitivity to insulin that diet changes alone could never achieve this quickly. Your body is becoming more responsive, more efficient, more intelligent in how it handles every calorie you consume. When you finally eat after a fasted workout, those calories are handled entirely differently than they would be after a fed training session. Instead of being stored as fat, they're driven directly into muscle repair, glycogen replenishment, and cellular recovery. Scientists call this state metabolic flexibility, and it's one of the most important and most underappreciated markers of genuine long-term human health. Metabolically flexible people don't crash when they skip a meal, they don't panic when lunch runs 2 hours late, and they don't need a snack every 3 hours just to maintain basic cognitive function. Their bodies move fluidly between fuel sources, glucose when it's available, fat when it's not, without drama, without symptoms, and without the rider of constantly managed blood sugar spikes and crashes. After 1 full month of consistent fasted training, your body has undergone a measurable and lasting metabolic shift. Research shows fat burning during exercise increases by 20 to 30%, and that's not a marginal improvement, that's a transformation. And crucially, these adaptations don't disappear the moment your workout ends. They persist quietly and invisibly throughout your entire day, influencing how your body handles every meal, every movement, every moment of rest. But perhaps the most surprising changes happening inside you are not in your muscles at all. They're happening inside your skull, in the organ that defines who you are. When blood sugar is low and stable, your liver begins converting fatty acids into ketones, a profoundly efficient alternative fuel that your brain actually runs on better than glucose. Ketones produce more usable cellular energy per unit of oxygen consumed compared to glucose, making them not just an alternative fuel, but a genuinely superior one for cognitive performance under pressure. Fasted movement also triggers the release of something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which neuroscientists describe as fertilizer for your neurons, a substance that grows new neural connections and repairs existing ones. BDNF improves memory, sharpens focus, stabilizes mood, builds emotional resilience, and has been linked in multiple studies to meaningful protection against cognitive decline as you age. This is why people who have adapted to fasted morning exercise consistently describe the same thing, an almost supernatural mental clarity during and after their sessions they can't replicate at any other point in their day. They enter what psychologists call flow states more easily, more reliably, and more deeply than at any other moment in their waking hours. You are not just training your body during these sessions, you are actively upgrading your cognitive hardware every single morning before most people have eaten their first meal. After 3 months of consistent fasted training, the adaptations are no longer temporary adjustments. They have become permanent structural changes at the deepest cellular level imaginable. Your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every cell in your body, have multiplied and strengthened through a process called mitogenic biogenesis, and this matters enormously for how you feel every single day. More mitochondria means more energy production with less metabolic waste, less oxidative damage accumulating in your tissues, and a measurable slowing of the biological processes that drive aging from the inside out. Long-term research shows that people who regularly training in a fasted state display significantly reduced levels of chronic inflammatory proteins, the same proteins strongly linked to accelerated aging, metabolic disease, and cognitive decline. You're also activating something called the AMPK pathway, what researchers call the body's master metabolic switch. And what it triggers next is one of the most important biological processes most people will never hear about. It triggers autophagy, a word from the Greek meaning self-eating, and understanding it may permanently change the way you think about your health, your aging, and your body's extraordinary capacity for self-renewal. Autophagy is your body's internal cellular recycling program, a deep cleaning mechanism encoded directly into your DNA that has been running quietly in the background since the first cells evolved on this planet. Your cells identify damaged proteins, dysfunctional organelles, and accumulated molecular debris, the biological equivalent of old broken furniture cluttering every room, and they break them down to build brand new, healthy structures in their place. Think of it as sending a microscopic cleaning and renovation crew through every single cell in your body simultaneously, tearing out the damaged infrastructure and replacing it with fresh, functional architecture. When autophagy is regularly triggered, cells stay cleaner, function with greater precision, accumulate damage more slowly, age more gracefully, and resist disease far more effectively than cells that never get this deep cleaning. The combination of all these adaptations, improved insulin sensitivity, elevated growth hormone, enhanced mitochondrial density, reduced inflammation, and regular autophagy creates something researchers are increasingly calling the fasted exercise phenotype. People with this phenotype do not experience energy crashes when they skip breakfast. Their bodies simply switch fuel sources without complaint, like a hybrid car seamlessly transitioning between electric and gas power. They carry a kind of metabolic freedom throughout their day that people running on constant glucose simply cannot access, no matter how well they eat or how consistently they sleep. Their performance stays consistent across the day, their mood remains even without constant feeding, and their relationship with hunger shifts from urgent alarm to mild, manageable awareness. But fasted exercise is a tool, a powerful one, and like every powerful tool, it must be used intelligently and matched precisely to the task at hand. High-intensity, maximum-effort training, brutal sprint intervals, and Olympic lifting at peak loads may see a slight dip in peak power output when performed fasted, up to 15% in some studies, and that is a real consideration worth respecting. This does not mean fasted training is inferior. It means you must choose the right tool for the right job, and moderate-intensity cardio, recreational sports, and general fitness training are where fasted exercise truly dominates. Always listen to your body with absolute seriousness. Dizziness, cold sweats, confusion, and shaking are non-negotiable stop signals, not signs of mental weakness to be pushed through. Now let's address the deepest question underneath all of this science. Why does the human body respond this powerfully to fasted exercise in the first place? The answer is not in a laboratory. It's buried in the dirt of the African savanna 2 million years ago, in the bodies of the ancestors who built the metabolism you're living in right now. For approximately 99% of human evolutionary history, exercise and fasting were not two separate lifestyle choices made in the air-conditioned comfort of a gym. They were the same event. Our ancestors moved specifically to find food. They hunted, foraged, climbed, and ran while genuinely, urgently hungry. And the bodies that performed best under those conditions were the ones that survived long enough to pass their genes forward. We carry those genes in every cell of our bodies right now. Genes that were selected specifically because they allowed a hungry human to think clearly, move powerfully, and outperform a predator or outrun a rival on an empty stomach. Biologically, we were built to be at our most alert, most capable, and most cognitively sharp precisely when we are hungry, not when we are full, not when we are digesting, but when the stakes are highest and the refrigerator is empty. Modern life has completely inverted this relationship in just a few short generations, and our bodies are showing the strain of that inversion in every metabolic disease chart, every diabetes statistic, and every afternoon energy crash. We've pathologized hunger, treated it as a medical emergency to be immediately eliminated, rather than the completely natural, useful, and even productive state it was always designed to be. We eat not because our bodies are truly ready to eat, but because the clock says it's time, because food is visible and available, because stress or boredom has been quietly dressed up as appetite. Our metabolic machinery, built for genuine effort and genuine rest, genuine hunger and genuine nourishment, is sitting idle in the constant hum of modern abundance, slowly losing the ability to function at the level it was designed for. Fasted exercise is how you reconnect with that version of yourself, the version that is resilient, capable, metabolically brilliant, and deeply, functionally alive in a way that constant feeding quietly suppresses. It's not a punishment, and it's not an extreme. It's a deliberate, intelligent choice to honor the biological patterns your body still recognizes and responds to with extraordinary power. If the science has convinced you and you're ready to begin, start with one non-negotiable rule. Do not begin too aggressively on day one, because the fastest way to fail at fasted training is to make your first experience miserable. Start with a 30-minute brisk walk in the morning before your first meal. No heroics, no intervals, no competition with your Fed training personal records. Low-intensity, steady-state movement keeps you in zone 2, the heart rate zone where fat burning is maximized, where mitochondrial adaptations are deepest, and where the metabolic machinery you're trying to rebuild gets its best training stimulus. Hydration becomes critically important during fasted sessions because low insulin causes your kidneys to release significantly more sodium in water than usual. Drink before you move, carry water with you, and rehydrate thoroughly when you finish. Consider adding a small pinch of high-quality sea salt to your water before your fasted session to replace the electrolytes your kidneys are releasing more aggressively than they do in a fed state. After your workout, resist the immediate urge to eat. Wait 30 to 60 minutes before breaking your fast because that extended window allows your body to continue burning fat and triggering autophagy at an elevated rate. When you do eat, lead strongly with high-quality complete protein to kickstart muscle repair, then add healthy fats and complex carbohydrates to replenish glycogen and provide complete cellular nourishment. This sequence creates what researchers describe as a powerful pulsing effect, deliberate biological stress followed by deep targeted nourishment, and it's the combination that drives the most profound long-term adaptations. The mitochondria you're building through this practice will serve your body with compounding power for years and decades to come, not just for the next fitness goal on your calendar. The insulin sensitivity you're developing will protect you from metabolic disease across the decades of life still ahead of you in ways that no supplement, no medication, and no diet trend can fully replicate.
The mental clarity you experience during fasted workouts will extend its reach into every other corner of your life. Your focus at work, your patience with people you love, your ability to think clearly under pressure. The autophagy you trigger will keep your cells cleaner, your tissues younger, and your biology more resilient at a level that cosmetics, anti-aging serums, and expensive wellness protocols cannot touch. The metabolic flexibility you're cultivating will give you a freedom from rigid meal timing, constant snacking, and blood sugar dependency that will quietly transform your daily experience in ways you haven't yet imagined. These are not temporary effects that disappear when the motivation fades. They are structural, biological, permanent improvements to how your body functions at every level, from your mitochondria to your mind. We're not talking about a fitness trend that will be replaced by the next one. We're talking about fundamental human biology, about how your body was genuinely designed to operate at its highest possible level. The era of constant, unlimited, effortless food availability is the anomaly in human history. The fasted state is what your body has always recognized as home. So here's your challenge. Not a lifetime commitment, not a radical overhaul, just a single experiment with your own extraordinary biology starting tomorrow morning. Would you commit to a 20-minute fasted walk before your first meal, knowing it would sharpen your brain, optimize your hormones, trigger autophagy, improve your insulin sensitivity, and begin rebuilding your metabolic resilience from the inside out? Just try it once, with genuine curiosity, with an open mind, and with full permission to be surprised by what your body is still capable of doing when you finally stop feeding it before asking it to move. Pay attention to every sensation, the quality of your thoughts, the unexpected sharpness of your focus, the strange lightness of your body moving through the morning air without the weight of a meal dragging it down, because the version of you that exists on the other side of this experiment is not a different person, it's simply a more complete version of the person you've always been.